Good morning. I'm Pete Najarian, and this is the Take for Market Rebellion on this Tuesday. I apologize. I missed out yesterday. I had some things going on, but I will tell you this. If you go back to Friday, there's a couple of things that really stand out, and I think it's really important. A, market absolutely got whacked, right? We were down 500, 600 points on the Dow. That was not too pleasant. We also started to see the NASDAQ actually momentum moving that as well. It was down triple digits, and we had the volatility index at the highest levels in over a month. It got up and very close to 21. So a lot going on. Most importantly, the volumes once again absolutely outstanding. 49.8 million contracts trading last Friday. Now, fast forwarded into yesterday, and suddenly a complete flip and a complete reverse of everything, and the commentary from Bullard and all of the interpretations of that. Well, forget about it, because yesterday we absolutely started moving to the upside. We were up a couple of hundred points very early on the Dow, and that never stopped, and we continued to push to the upside. We were up about 500 points. Then we were up 600 points. We actually finished the day up about 568 points. The NASDAQ also having a nice day, and that actually continued to move to the upside and finished in triple digits as well. So a really nice performance. The S&P, obviously the NASDAQ, and the Dow all having a really, really nice bounce kind of a day after a really awful day on Friday. So kind of take out the eraser and kind of wipe all that out. Now, what was really pushing these markets? The energy sector specifically really stood out. That sector alone was up over 4% yesterday. And names like Chevron, names like Exxon, ConocoPhillips, BP, you go through the big caps and move over to the XOP. I talk about those as the beta names all the time. Look at Devon, look at Marathon. Marathon, by the way, these all hit yesterday with unusual option activity. We saw it in the XOP. We saw some massive option trading in there. We did see it in Marathon, both Marathon Petroleum and Marathon Oil, Devon, Transocean, you get the idea. Across the board, energy was very much on fire yesterday. The movement to the upside definitely moving along with the price of oil, which was 73.5, a nice big spike there. What wasn't really enjoying the day was Bitcoin. Bitcoin was down about 9%. Bitcoin absolutely getting throttled. It was down in that just below 32,000 level. It did finish above that for the day, although it really never finishes, right, with Bitcoin. But we did have that volatility that was spiking as well. And then we had this pullback. And yesterday we had the pullback. It started early and often and moving a little bit lower. And by the end of the day, we finished near the lows and we finished underneath 18. So call it somewhere in the upper 17, 1760. It's sort of that area with volumes a little over 36 million. Another really strong day in the derivatives markets. Anytime we are seeing the option markets these days, we've gotten used to it, but you're over 30 plus million. That's a monstrous day. So going back to Friday, when I say we are nearly 50 million contracts, that gives you a little idea of just how much volume we really were seeing. And a nice follow-up yesterday. It looks like we're starting on a pretty nice, at least starting point today as well. So in terms of the Dow, what was really a lot of the sectors that was really pushing things to the upside, up more than 2%? You had financials, you had industrials, you had materials. All of these names kind of in sectors just sort of moving in concert together, the ups and the downs. We obviously were getting bashed last Friday. Monday, a pretty nice recovery. Tech up about 1% as well. Every single sector finished in the green yesterday. So that gives you a little bit of an idea that the participation level wasn't just in one category, although I got to tell you, energy at a 4% move really did stand out. But we also had that name Wish. Now, the name of the company is actually Context Logic, but it was up 18% yesterday. WISH is the symbol there. Now, that was a nice move, and we had a couple of different very high volume trades, specifically one at the very end of the day where they're looking for even more out of this particular company. And again, we talk about these meme or rebel stocks, as we've been calling them. We certainly are seeing that continue. Folks are talking about, well, it's all over. No, it's not. We continue to see a lot of these names, and I'll even mention a couple as we get into today's activity, because certainly we are seeing some more of those quote unquote rebel type names. So a really nice start to the week on yesterday, and then you get into today, kind of a up and down and all around in terms of the Dow, but you look over and it's been pretty steady Eddie actually with the NASDAQ. NASDAQ up maybe 20 or 30, down maybe 20 or 30. just sort of shifting around. Last I looked, it was up about 15 points. But the Dow, on the other hand, at least early, got whacked to the downside, down triple digits in the first few minutes of the day, and including at the first half hour mark at 9 o'clock Central Time at least, it was down about 100 points. That's recovered as well. And I'll take a quick look just to see, because it's been all over the place. Down about 35 points at least right now for the moment. And I say that for the moment because we have seen that continual movement, but early on, as I say, definitely some pressure, down about 100 points. After that big bounce yesterday, you almost sort of expect a little bit of that. Financials were down about 0.6% early. Industrials were down about 0.5% early. The industrials had recovered pretty nicely. Financial recovered a little bit, and energy, which was down about 1%, recovered all the way into positive territory. But we'll see if that holds for very long also, because this movement is really something. It's not massive in terms of the moves, but we are seeing some shifting around, and that's certainly something that I think is worth noting and keeping an eye on. Crude still hanging around over that 73 mark, 73, 73 and a half, right in there. Bitcoin, on the other hand, even getting hit harder. Last I looked, Bitcoin was trading in the 29,000 sort of an area and really getting just absolutely hammered, especially if you just go back a week or two and we were talking about the grind in that 38,000 to 40,000 range. And here we are now trading 29,000. It's definitely taken a pretty significant hit. Now, what's not taking a hit and having a pretty nice day is Splunk. And the reason behind that, stock's up about 10%, is that Silver Lake investment that was coming across. A lot of people taking note of that and certainly liking what they're seeing about what's going on with that stock. Certainly Splunk with a nice move to the upside. Another name that's moving to the upside, Peloton. Peloton, at least early on, up about 4%, 3% actually, 3% in a solid move to the upside as well. I got two unusuals, and then I will be on the halftime report today. I got three stocks that I'll be talking about that I think are three stocks that still have plenty of room to the upside. Kind of gives you a hint because these are names that have already produced pretty nicely. I still think that there is some room. I think there's a lot of folks that are coming late to some of these other categories and sectors as well because of the moves that we've already had. So we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. But I've got a couple of them that I think really do make sense to me, especially when I start to break them down and see where they are now halfway through the year and what it looks like for the second half of the year. Okay, so we've got some unusuals now, and I'll hit some unusuals later as well. Not only just those three stocks that they're asking us to pick and a sector, but a couple of unusuals as well, some unusual option activity. First, we're going to hit this, CrowdStrike. Now, CrowdStrike's pretty interesting because of the fact that stock's trading right around 247. It's having a really wonderful day trading, and they are buying the June 25th expiring. They're right back to it, folks. We are trading a lot of stuff lately that is absolutely expiring this week. And there are some names that are going out there in time. As a matter of fact, in the energy space, we've talked about some of that. But this is expiring Friday, June 25th. So the 250 strike call, stock was trading right around 247.19. They were paying 230 all the way up to about 380 for those calls. Some pretty nice size buying there. Now, FUBO. This one's pretty interesting. FUBO TV, 33 and a half. We got a buyer of almost 11,000 of these calls. And by the way, Glenn does a great job. He's putting all this stuff up for me all the time. It's unbelievable. The June 25th expiring, once again, that's Friday. They're buying the 35 strike calls there. Stock trading 33 and a half, buying the 35 strike calls. Those were going, last I looked, 53 cents all the way up to something a little bit over $1. And oh, by the way, stock did ease back, and they were also buying the 34 strike calls, same expiration cycle. So 34s and 35s. 35s were bigger in terms of volume, but they were also buying the 34s. So looking for a little bit of a move there. We'll see how that plays out. It's only Tuesday. We do have today, we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we've got a little bit of time for these to play out. But again, this is very, very short. Folks, understand the derivatives markets. You've got to understand them because this is where the growth is. Educate yourself, read books, do everything you've got to do. This is an incredible area, and you can actually control risk. It doesn't get riskier. It can, but you can control risk as well. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. Our team does an unbelievable job of educating folks. Guys, have a great day of trading, and I'll see you at noon.